fire starting in my heart.
Stand ready.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today?
Tommy Nation Politics.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Crystal?
Indeed we do. We got a fantastic panel for you. Marshall Kosloff, Roger Fisk. We got Brianna Joy Gray on. She's going to be talking about a very simple way to solve this supposed labor shortage. We also have Jeff Stein on. He's going to break down some Democratic objections to the pay-fors in Biden's infrastructure package. And we want to start with infrastructure and
Resolution to put together another reconciliation package, according to three of his sources. This is important. It tells us about the timing. The parliamentarian ruled that the Democrats can use that resolution to pass multiple majority vote reconciliation packages, according to Chuck Schumer's office. But let's put the next part up there. They are now going to focus on fiscal year 2022. They can use that budget resolution multiple times as well, and they don't have to worry about a September 30th deadline. But it means the debate over infrastructure could drag well into the fall, which will put a collision path with the government funding and debt limit skirmishes. In plain English, what does that mean? Nothing's happening for a long time. This is Biden's Obamacare. I basically said it from the beginning. I was like, the moment you start all these negotiations and you have this and you let this input and all of that, you're dead. And that's exactly what's happening. Now they don't have to worry about September 30th deadline. It's May 26th. Okay? That's how this government works right now. Oh, yes.
really.
Hey guys, happy Memorial Day. Memoriam. Never forget. Hashtag never forget. Hashtag remember the fallen. After World War II, none of them fought for freedom, but they didn't know that. And so, I have nothing bad to say about the dead. Only the Democrats and Republicans. Never forget those guys. Why do we celebrate Memorial Day? Let's reflect on that today. Chat's open, by the way. This is Tommy Nation Politics. We're free-thinking, innovative, totally open-minded, independent medium. You can reach us at www.tommynationpolitics.com or send us some messages at facebook.com/TommyNationPolitics. If you would like to contribute to Tommy Nation Politics, PayPal, or Cash App, or you can just put it in my skirt, when I'm dancing on a little thing, a little poles with my little LA Gears stripper shoes. Just kidding. Only in my dreams. Guys, do you know what happens? Do you know what's happening that's not really a dream? It's in fact a nightmare. The same thing's happening. History is repeating itself. Joe Biden put all he had into what? This infrastructure? That's going to be it, guys. You want a minimum wage? You want a Green New Deal? You want legalizing marijuana? You want progressive policies? No, I'm sorry. The Senate parliamentarian said that's it for us. Nothing will fundamentally change. Well, people wonder why I'm crazy. Today we're going to reflect on the fallen, and we're also going to reflect on the past. and why the fallen didn't need to fall. There's a nation of sheep owned by wolves, pigs. Sagar, what do you finish your thought, bro?
Under the gun here.
Yeah, September 30th.
4 months, we can't get this done.
That's in the fall, okay? And now they're saying, oh, fiscal year 2022. I'll go on the record here. One thing will pass. It will be some weird compromise legislation, 51 votes only with all Democrats. No Republican will support it, just like Obamacare. And actually, I do not believe it will inspire the same amount of political pushback as Obamacare did, but it is an anemic victory for a person who sees himself as FDR. It is total back to normal politics. Definitely sets the stage because there's no real animating reason there in order to vote Democrat in Congress. They will almost certainly lose the path that we now seem likely. And if you love gridlock, where we're already at, you better party like it's 2022, folks, because it's the Obama times all over again. It's just crazy to see history repeat itself. It doesn't even rhyme. It just is. Like, it's the same thing.
So guys, this is why you're making me crazy. We're repeating the Obamacare thing. We're repeating the same neoliberal policies. We've been repeating these same policies for 40 years, guys. And then you think that he's going to do some progressive things. This 79-year-old, dementia-riddled old man, neoliberal, writer of the crime bill. This scumbag, plagiarist, cheater, fucking lie. He lies all the time. There's not a word that comes out of his mouth that's not a lie, bro. Is CNN and fucking MSNBC counting the lies? No, they're not. Isn't that weird? So, I think my main point on this is really, y'all are talking about the big lie and stuff. Well, they can believe in whatever they want. I don't give a shit. They could think Trump is like baby Jesus come back as an orange zygote. I don't give a fuck what the Republicans believe. I believe something else. But let me tell you something. It disturbs me when I hear the big lie come out of Rachel Maddow's mouth. Then I hear the big lie come out of Anderson Cooper's mouth. Then I hear the big lie come out of fucking Chris Cuomo's mouth. Then I hear the big lie come out of your mouth. You're spreading propaganda. You're killing my children. Please try not to do that. It's just another reason why I hate the Democratic Party more than I hate the Republicans. They're very on focus, on goal. Tax cuts for the rich. Corporate liability. Taxes for the rich. Democrats want to go here, they want to go there, they want to go there under the Senate parliamentarian to fucking you over. Hey, do you want to get those flip pipes fixed? How about we have a committee with some oversight, and maybe we'll have a town hall at a rally, and then we'll fuck you over in the end. Oh shit, we're Democrats, we're so fair. See, that's equity, right, guys? We go through a long little fucking roundy round hoop, and then fuck you over. God, just give me the Republicans who just fucked me over. Rape, incest, fuck you. I mean, at least that's honest. Y'all are honest fucking cretins, Republicans. Democrats, you are some insidious, slimy shit. You're like my ex who fucked Ted Cruz. Don't make me spill the beans on Heidi, Ted. But guys, I'm digressing. We need to start, remembering the fallen and shit. So, y'all sit back, relax, enjoy the show, okay? "121 guns, lay down your arms, give up the fight. 121 guns, lay down your arms into the sky, you and I."
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today?
Neoliberalism. Simply, neoliberalism is the idea that society should be shaped by the free market and that the economy should be deregulated and privatized. Or even simpler, what works in the private sector will also work in the public. But it doesn't stop there. Neoliberalism also involves the idea that the public sector should not only follow the private sector's rules, but it should also subsidize the private sector, which we know is now owned by fewer and fewer global capitalists. While neoliberalism began to reach its current heights in the late 1870s, it has its roots in Enlightenment liberal humanism, or classical liberalism, the belief that people were free to live their lives without a great deal of interference from government. So what does neoliberalism have to do with classical liberalism, and why does it matter? Well, neoliberalism isn't really new itself, but is a new take on classical liberalism. Neoliberalism uses the languid tenets of classical liberalism in ways that now benefit large corporate interests. For example, many of the tenets of liberalism were enacted in the name of equality, meaning that free market policies were supposed to allow people an equal chance into the marketplace. Under neoliberalism, however, the free market loses its ties to democratic ideals and instead allows corporate capitalists to open up previously unavailable markets. Basically, the free market becomes increasingly free for wealthy corporate capitalists and less free for everyone else. Although neoliberalism is a discourse that we cannot necessarily see, it has real material effects on many aspects of our lives. Let's take the American public education system as an example of how business interests have infiltrated public systems. In the past, public schools were set up to offer a free education to promote the liberal humanist ideas of liberty and equality. But with the rise of neoliberalism and in turn education reform movements, the lines between public and private education have been blurred. What we now see is heavy private investment from private individuals and corporations. In the name of liberty, neoliberals use the business-laden language of choice, free market, and deregulation to dismantle and then reconstruct public schools in a corporate image. This all happens through the use of language that sounds lovely, but ultimately doesn't prompt too many questions from the general public. As corporations take a stronghold in the public sector, we also see the reciprocal investment of public dollars into private companies. Not familiar with the education system? That's okay, you don't have to look far to see neoliberalism at work. Remember, neoliberalism is everywhere, and it isn't limited to one political party. It's both right and left, and conservative and liberal, which makes it very hard to work against. So next time you hear a politician or CEO talking about the greater good, take a moment to wonder who's good. More often than not, the good being held up as liberty for all might really just be more money for some.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today?
Tommy Nation Politics.
Oh, we'll rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We will rally from the hillside, we'll gather from the plain, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah. Down with the traitor, up with the star, while we rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We are springing to the call of our brothers gone before, shouting the battle cry of freedom, and we'll fill the vacant ranks with 1,000,000 free men more, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah. Down with the traitor, up with the star, while we rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We will welcome to our numbers the loyal, true, and brave, shouting the battle cry of freedom. They may be poor, not a man shall be a slave, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah. Down with the traitor, up with the star, while we rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. So we're springing to the call from the east and from the west, shouting the battle cry of freedom, and we'll hurl the rebel crew from the land we love the best, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah. Down with the traitor, up with the star, while we rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. While we rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom.
That he somehow won the
And that's
election when
about
we all
all I
know
have to
it's
say
not
tonight,
true.
except for one thing. The past few days, when I've been at that window upstairs, I've thought a bit of the shining city upon a hill. The phrase comes from John Winthrop, who wrote it to describe the America he imagined. What he imagined was important because he was an early pilgrim, an early freedom man. He journeyed here on what today we call a little wooden boat, and like the other pilgrims, he was looking for a home that would be free. I've spoken of the shining, but I don't know if I ever quite communicated what I saw when I said it. But in my mind, it was a tall, proud city built on rocks stronger than oceans, windswept, God-blessed, teeming with people of all kinds, living in harmony and peace. A city with free ports that hummed with commerce and creativity. And if it had to be city walls, the walls had doors, and the doors were open to anyone with the will and the heart to get it.
Abolishing the police.
That's how I saw it
voting for nominees
and see it
who
still.
advocate abolishing the police.
And how stands the city on this winter night? More prosperous, more secure, and happier than it was 8 years ago. But more than that, after 200 years, 2 centuries, she still stands strong and true on the granite ridge, and her glow is held steady, no matter what storm. And she's still a beacon, still a magnet for all who must have freedom, for all the pilgrims from all the lost places who are hurtling through the darkness toward home. We've done our part, and as I walk off into the city streets, a final word to the men and women of the Reagan Revolution, the men and women across America who for 8 years did the work that brought America back. My friends, we did it. We weren't just marking time. We made a difference. We made the city stronger We made the city freer.
I rise
And
in
we left
opposition
it
to
in
the
good
commission
hands.
to study the events
All in
of
all,
January 6th,
not bad.
as well as spending
Not
$2
bad at all.
billion in security
So,
supplemental. The
goodbye.
question that comes to mind is
God
this.
bless you.
What about all the riots
God
that
bless the
happened during
United
the summer of
States of
2020
America.
after the death of George Floyd?
This weekend represents the traditional beginning of summer in the United States, the 3-day weekend that's called Memorial Day. But of course, Memorial Day was not created as a way to commemorate the beginning of summer. It was created as the day that the nation sets aside to remember its war dead. It is a tradition with a long and powerful history, a history that deserves to be remembered. The tradition of decorating soldiers' graves with flowers is ancient. Ancient Greeks performed rituals over soldiers' graves that included the placement of flowers. If the flowers took root and bloomed, that was believed to be a sign that the warrior's soul had found happiness in the next world. The Romans observed a 9-day ritual called parentalia that honored family ancestors and included the decoration of familial tombs with flowers. As part of the festival, roses and violets were placed on the tombs of fallen soldiers. The origins of Memorial Day in the United States, which was originally called Decoration Day, are actually a matter of some dispute, but there are parts of the story that are agreed upon. Nationwide observance of the day was in 1868. John Alexander Logan, a major general in the Union Army during the Civil War, and in 1868 Commander-in-Chief of the Grand Army of the Republic, a fraternal order of Civil War Union veterans, issued a proclamation calling for a Decoration Day to be observed annually and nationwide as a day to decorate the graves of Civil War dead, both Union and Confederate. The date of the observance was chosen to be May 30th, because that was a day that was not the anniversary of any major battle of the war, and yet flowers to decorate the graves would be in bloom all across the country. On the first nationally recognized Decoration Day, in 1868, events were held in 183 cemeteries in 27 states. The role that John A. Logan, who was, in addition to being a Major General and Commander-in-Chief of the Grand Army of the Republic, also a U.S. Congressman, U.S. Senator, and unsuccessful candidate for Vice President of the United States, in creating a day to decorate the graves of war dead is particularly poignant. His son, Army Major John Alexander Logan, Jr., was killed in combat on November 11, 1899, while leading his troops during the Philippine War. For the action, he was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, one of the nation's heroes. Prizes are memorialized on the holiday, which his father played a central role in establishing. After the First World War, the meaning of the day was changed to memorialize all Americans who died in the service of their country, rather than just Civil War dead. It wasn't until after the Second World War that the name was more commonly recognized as Memorial Day, rather than Decoration Day. The Uniform Monday Holiday Act, enacted in 1968, officially changed Memorial Day to the last rather than always occurring on May 30th. The purpose of the act was to maximize 3-day weekends for federal employees, and that decision is still controversial. Some people argue that by always making Memorial Day a 3-day weekend, it changed the meaning of the day so that now it is more of a leisure time to celebrate the beginning of summer rather than a somber time set aside to remember the nation's war dead. There are several competing claims as to which community began the idea of a Decoration Day. In fact, more than 24 communities in both the North and the South lay claim to the idea that they were the first community to set aside community time to decorate Civil War graves. The sheer number of Americans killed during this period led to many acts of community mourning. One candidate for the genesis of the holiday has been advanced by Yale University historian David Blight, who uncovered lost evidence of an event in Charleston, South Carolina on May the 1st of 1865. February 15th of that year, Confederate General P.G.T. Beauregard ordered the evacuation of Confederate forces from the city of Charleston in the face of the campaign of Union General William Tecumseh Sherman. The city's white population had largely evacuated, but thousands of black former slaves remained. Symbolically, the first Union troops to enter the city were black troops, infantry regiment, and the infantry. On May the 1st, black workmen dug up and then properly reinterred the bodies of 257 Union soldiers who had died in a Confederate prisoner of war camp in Charleston and who had been buried in a hastily dug mass grave. The memorial was then celebrated by a parade of school children, citizens, and Union soldiers. Thus, Blight argues, Memorial Day was founded by African Americans in a ritual of remembrance and consecration that represented the fact that the Civil War was a victory of emancipation.
Booyah!
Slaveholding
In your
in public.
face, white liberals!
When the white aristocracy
I'm just
returned to
kidding.
Charleston, memory of the event was actively suppressed, and it essentially was lost to history until Blatt rediscovered it in period newspapers. While there is clear record that the event occurred, and it was undoubtedly an important event, the problem with Blight's claim that it was the foundation of Memorial Day is that it wasn't well known throughout the country, and thus was not likely to have inspired Logan to create the National Annual Remembrance in 1868. Still, it is an important part of the U.S. Memorial Day tradition, and it deserves to be remembered. Another candidate for the origin of the day occurred in Columbus, Georgia in 1866. While this may not have been the first time that a decorate the graves of war dead, what gained national attention at the time was the fact that the community decorated the graves of both Confederate and Union war dead. Northern papers took notice. The Washington Intelligencer opined. The action of the ladies on this occasion in burying whatever animosities or ill feeling may have been engendered in the late war towards those who fought against them is worthy of all praise and commendation. This widely reported action is seen by some historians to have inspired a movement of reconciliation that was part of the motivation behind Logan's 1868 proclamation. Others argue that Lincoln began the process of reconciliation and grave decoration when he dedicated the Gettysburg battlefield on November 19, 1863. For its part, in 1966, Congress officially recognized Waterloo, New York as the first community to set aside a community-wide annual observance of a day dedicated to honoring the war dead, starting in 1866. The problem is that the Waterloo story is difficult to prove. Some historians argue that the Waterloo story is more legend than fact. Regardless of where the tradition started, one important part of the history of Memorial Day in the United States is the significant difference in which the day was celebrated in the North versus the South. In the period immediately following the Civil War, while the North tended to focus on the idea that Union soldiers had sacrificed themselves in the cause of freedom, celebrations in the South increasingly turned towards supporting a set of beliefs referred to as the lost cause of the Confederacy. The idea of the lost cause minimized the role of slavery as a cause for the war and presented the Southern cause as a defense of an idyllic way of life from intrusion. Confederate soldiers and leaders were presented as if they were chivalric knights fighting against overwhelming odds. The tradition of commemorating war dead allowed an opportunity to reinforce this set of beliefs. The idea of the lost cause is significant in post-war America. While most historians agree that it reinforced white supremacist attitudes and helped the Southern elite re-establish power, there's also wide agreement that the philosophy helped to heal over, or at least to plaster over, the wounds of the war during the difficult period of Reconstruction, and helped to move the nation back to the unity of purpose, which would be required to face the challenges of the coming century. The narrative, however, ignored many historical realities, and that can be seen in modern conflicts today over things like the display of the Confederate battle flag or Confederate monuments. What it most means to this historian is that the issues that drove the conflict of the U.S. Civil War did not magically disappear when the Confederate armies surrendered. And the fact that those issues are still around today is all the more reason why we should learn and know the history that is intertwined with the way that our nation commemorates its war dead. Memorial Day is unique in the way that Americans understand our history. It is a rare day that is set aside for Americans to remember their history, and yet its cause and date harken back to the most divisive period in our history. And it also symbolizes the sacrifice and heroism on behalf of our most revered values. Such shared values ground our national identity. Perhaps one of the best ways to understand Memorial Day is to understand the surprisingly little-known flag tradition of Memorial Day. By tradition, on the morning of Memorial Day, the United States flag is briskly drawn to the top of the staff and then solemnly lowered to half-staff in recognition of the more than 1 million men and women who sacrificed their lives in the service of our country. But then, at noon, the flag is again drawn to the top of the staff as symbol that the living are resolute in not allowing that the sacrifice of our war dead will have been in vain, and a promise that we will rise up in their stead and continue the fight for the cause of liberty and justice.
We will rise up.
Around the world, nations remember their fallen soldiers in different ways.
And die.
Many of them set aside
Just
time
like
to
our
do so on
parents.
November 11th, which is the anniversary of the armistice that ended the Great War. We recognize that in the United States as Veterans Day, where as Memorial Day remembers those who died serving in the United States Armed Forces, Veterans Day remembers all those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces.
All of those.
I'd like to dedicate this episode to my great-uncle George. who my dad is named after, and who I always thought I would have liked, but I never got to meet. He's one of the more than 1 million American young men marched off to war and never came home.
It was for freedom.
They deserve
It was for freedom.
to be remembered.
Don't worry about it. Hey, partisans! Happy Memorial Day to you guys.
Hi guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing this Memorial Day
Don't
weekend?
forget to subscribe.
Oh goodness.
Notifications.
We out shopping? We out getting those brand names? Always advised. Point of sale. Rally around the family. Pocket full of shells. Rally around the family. The pocket full of shells.
Hey guys, this is Tommy.
Oh well. Here's to another year of what you know the thing. What, buddy? Is it Memorial Day or is it springtime for Biden? Who knows? All I know, guys, is nobody would have believed the world would exist today as it is right now. And by that I mean America. The beautiful land, the shining beacon on a hill, only now a corporation. A meaningless contract. Some fine print. Were we liberating democracy? Were we saving Israel from I don't know. Whatever the bandwagon mentality is right now, I just want to let everyone know that as fun as it probably is for you, you're ruining the country. Please stop. But if you're not going to stop your partisan, warmongering, fascist following of the puppets of the rich, please remember the fallen.
Starve a look at one another short of breath, walking proudly in our winter coats, wearing smells from laboratories, facing a dying nation of moving paper fantasies, listening for the new told lies with supreme visions of long tunes. Somewhere outside this world there is a rush of greatness. Who knows what stands in front of our lives, our passions, our future, all filled and spent. But silence tells me secretly everything, everything. Oh. Manchester, England, England. I believe in God. I believe that I'm a genius, genius, genius. I believe in God. I believe in God. That's me. 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 We starve a look on another short of breath, walking proudly in our winter coats, wearing spells from laboratories, facing a dying nation of moving pain.
The lost cause of the Confederacy, or simply the lost cause, is an American pseudo-historical negationist ideology that adds the belief that the cause of the Confederate States during the American Civil War were heroic and not just centered on slavery. It wasn't about slavery. It was about states' rights. So, history is always repeating itself, guys. The losers of history always reimagine history if the winners don't completely destroy the losers. So I guess that's like the whole evolutionary reason for like, when you take over, you're supposed to kill the whole family or whatever like that. The apes do that shit. It's an instinct, guys. Do you know why? Targaryens can come back, burn cities to the ground. Yeah, history is always repeating itself. Just as Confederates, when they betrayed and seceded against the greatest country in the world because of slavery, we let them keep their lives. If I was the leader, I would have literally neutered them all so they couldn't reproduce. And then I kept them all in fucking slave camps. See how you feel. See how that feels, guys. What kind of rights did y'all want again? No, but what did you hear what they said? The reconciliation. Abraham Lincoln, reconciliation. Oh, you fucking poor traitors. Why? Why could you reconcile? You know it says in the Constitution that treason is punishable by death. By hanging. By the hanging. We let the fucking South go. You know what happened? The lost cause. States' rights. They think they're right. We could have stomped their whole entire fucking history out. Sherman did. Sherman wanted to. What's his name? Jim Brown, Harriet Tubman's white friend. God, there were some badass white people back in that day. Some white people, they were riding horses and fucking killing slave masters, just like fucking Daenerys Targaryen. That's kind of like what I'm like. I'm not like this whole repeating the lost cause line. All of these fucking confused rednecks forgetting whether or not they fucking won. Yeah, it was a horrible, bloody battle, guys. The last time we fought like this. Is it going to be like that again? It doesn't have to be. Because, like, literally, it's not about slavery right now, is it, right? No, it's only about our Constitution. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. I'm going to try to go slowly so you can follow me. So, that Constitution gives us, rights as citizens, amendments, privileges, inalienable rights. If that were to go, well, we would be subject to a Facebook community standards times the 10th power, bro. You want to see what these technocrats are doing with Joe Biden and the Democrats? I mean, just take a look at what they're letting the corporations do. They're letting the corporations ban us, censor us, literally control our fucking YouTube channels to where if we even mention the 17th letter of the alphabet, we'll get a tag. 3 tags, they close down your fucking YouTube. Access. Cancel culture. Guys, it's all about control. Control. It's all about control. How many wars do we have to have? How many Joe Bidens do we have to have? How many Obamacares do we have to have? How many Iraq wars do we have to have? How many lost causes do we have to have before we get it through our fucking heads that there's only one person in charge in this fucking country, and it ain't the Democrats or the Republicans. It's we, the people. In order to form a more perfect union, it's the only way it works. Nancy Pelosi, not in there. These political parties that were literally made to maintain power in the government. I mean, How many promises did he promise you when he promised what he promised? How many things left out of the budget? Oh no, but he's changed. He's not the same Joe Biden that gave George W. Bush from Congress to declare war on terror. He's not the same Joe Biden that did that. It's not the same Joe Biden that wrote the crime bill. It's not the same Joe Biden that tried to rape Tara Reid underneath the Capitol building. He's not that same Joe Biden. He's changed. Same thing with the fucking Trumpists. You guys, like, literally, this madness is making us go in circles. So don't blame me if I'm, like, literally looking out to Lincoln Park calling you guys cucks. Because that's literally the only way I could be sane. There's no reason to fight, guys. We need to remember our history, like we said. We need to remember our history so that we don't repeat it. This is supposed to be like a new, it's a new day. Summertime's around the corner. That's what Memorial Day signifies, guys. And the ultimate sacrifice of defending the nation. Besides the bloodiest civil war ever, and World War I and World War II, all of our other wars have been for regime change, for corporate power, and for centralized government. And today, I'm remembering my history. And you know what I'm doing, guys? I'm shouting the battle, create freedom. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everybody's like, you speak in riddles. You speak in riddles. Is that a big lie? Is that undermining my democracy, interfering with my elections? I have 3 people watching me. Nobody's on the chat. What are you guys thinking? Do I make sense to you? Because I really want to. I really want to stop this little circle of bullshit neoliberalism. So if I can make sense to you, I'll even stop calling you cucks. Guys, the next election, which is this November, you can make a choice. You can choose to keep playing the game or choose to end the game. Choice is up to us. I feel like Ralphie's pajamas when he gets that Red Ryder BB gun, though. And he like goes out. Oh my God! Shoot your eye out, kid. You'll shoot your eye out. Oh, Joe Biden. Minimum wage? No. Get back to work, you lazy pores. I'm progressive. I'm a progressive guy. You know, I'm so progressive that I fired everybody in my cabinet that smoked pot. I'm that progressive. Guys, you know how progressive I am? That like, when Black Lives Matter fucking called me after I fucking got inaugurated, I let the phone ring because I don't answer those darkies. They speak weird. Huh, you know the thing. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it's all just retarded, guys. I really wish I had something to respond to. It's just all madness right now. This big lie, this fight. And now we're letting the politicians, this is scaring me, literally do this 9/11 style commission. They even called it the 9/11 style commission. What does that mean? Well, something like we're going to fucking have a Patriot Act and then we're going to enact torture in an undisclosed location. They'll probably store your metadata. And you have no fucking rights, really. If someone calls you a terrorist, there are no rights. That's why this big lie thing, guys, it's like one hair away. Can you feel it? The big lie. Really, you're spreading propaganda against another side of our country. Who cares if they're annoying and really kind of like sometimes, boneheaded? Who cares? The right wing is their family. Why are you going to call them a big lie? Why you got to insult these guys? Why you got to slap them in the face all the time? It's not them doing anything. It's Mitch McConnell sucking the life out of his state and our entire country. It's the Republicans and the Democrats. Why? You see what you're doing when you're spreading the big lie? You're further dividing our country. You're further dividing the people that are in charge, really. And you're giving power and you're maintaining it to the status quo and to the Democrats and Republicans when you call people the big lie. These people are your family, okay? You know who ain't in the family? Look in the Constitution, guys. Who ain't in there? 2 political parties. They show them their face all the time. They ain't in the Constitution. Why are they here? They're not supposed to be here. They are crashing the party, guys. I'm trying to be as clear as I fucking possibly can. I was going to do something. You know what Restream is, guys. I'm not even sweating it anymore, guys, because it's like Saturday, and I'm remembering shit. So fuck Restream. 3 people watching me, no comments. I almost went crazy. Guys. Do you know what's worth fighting for when it's not worth dying for? Does it take your breath away and you feel yourself suffocating? Does the pain weigh out the pride when you look for a place to hide? Did someone break your heart inside? You're in ruins. Why 21 guns lay down your arms of the fight? Why 21 guns lay down your arms into the sky? You and I. When you're at the end of the road and you lost all sense of control, and your thoughts have taken their toll, when your mind breaks the spirit of your soul, your faith walks on broken glass, and the hangover doesn't pass. You gotta push these guys around. Can't let them fucking walking all over us. We're in ruin. Why 21 guns downs, give up the fight? 21 guns, lay down your arms into the sky. You will did you try to figure out alone? You burn down the house and the world. Did you stand too close to the fire? Am I looking for forgiveness for the storm? So just think about that, guys. It's time to get back to our basics. Otherwise, we have fascism. When it's time to live and let die, and you can't get another try, something inside your heart has died. You're in ruin. Why 20